Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Anne Logan, and this is the I'veReadThis.com YouTube channel. Today, I am going to be reviewing This Has Nothing to Do with You by Lauren Carter. This book is published by Freehand Books, which is a local Calgary press, and Lauren is a Canadian author, so this is my kind of local pick for today. First, I wanted to talk about the title, This Has Nothing to Do with You. I think that's a really strong phrase, and immediately it's kind of negativity comes to mind. It's something that I think you would say to someone to kind of get them off your back, and it's a phrase that appears throughout the book, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But this is a work of fiction. It's a coming-of-age story. It's about a young woman named Melanie, and her older brother Matt, and it's told through Melanie's perspective. When Melanie was graduating high school, her mother murdered her father and her father's mistress. So once that happens, and her mother goes to prison, Mel kind of flees, and she goes out west for a little while. She travels down to Arizona, drifts along, she's homeless for a while, and the book actually begins when Matt brings Melanie back home to Northern Ontario to sort of get her life back together. She holds down a job, she has an apartment, but she's still a mess of a person. She's really frustrating to read about because she makes all these obvious mistakes, and you can understand why, but it's still, I have a real type A personality, and it was really frustrating to read about the things that she was doing. So, for instance, she lives in a tiny apartment that does not allow animals, and she adopts this huge dog with all these behavioral problems. So that's one example of, the obvious mistakes that she makes. But the characterization is probably the strongest part of this book. Matt and Melanie obviously have a lot going on in their lives, but they're really fascinating to read about, and the way that they interact seems very realistic and believable. So I really enjoyed learning more about them. The book takes place in 1994, so we get a lot of references to 90s culture, 90s fashion, which was really fun for me. But it's actually really relevant because in 1994 was when the Rwanda crisis was going on, and Matt is just obsessed with watching about this on the news, and he's really angry about it because he feels like Canada isn't helping enough, people aren't paying enough attention, they're not taking it seriously, and he feels really helpless. And he's almost re-traumatizing himself by watching the news over and over again and getting so involved in this crisis. And as I record this, it is beginning of April 2020, and we're right in the middle of our pandemic. And I didn't know that this was going to happen in the book, but I actually found it really reassuring to read about it because, I think Matt is experiencing what a lot of people are now. Watching the news is sort of traumatizing, seeing all these death counts and, hearing about things that we can't do, that changes every day. And so it was really comforting to me to read about a character who's sort of experiencing some of the same things I am and the same things my friends are. So for that reason alone, I do recommend reading this book. As I mentioned, trauma is a big theme in this story, as well as family secrets. At one point, Melanie kind of accuses Matt of curating their family secrets because she learns a lot more about her parents' marriage when she returns home. And as the youngest of 3 kids, I could really relate to Melanie in this. I feel like, my family tries to protect me from things, so there's always secrets that I'm, learning as I get older, and it's frustrating for me, and it was really frustrating for Melanie in the book, and I think a lot of babies of the family can probably relate to this as well. I think I do recommend this book. My only kind of complaint about it is that it's a bit long. It's close to 400 pages, which I feel is unnecessarily long for the story. It could have done with a stronger substantive edit, but you know, the writing is really beautiful and the characters Melanie and Matt are really memorable, as is Melanie's dog Gromit. I'm not a dog person, but reading about this dog really made me fall in love with him. So I also want to mention kind of a new project that I'm starting, and that is an online book club. I'll include the link below this video so you guys can check it out. It's through Facebook, and I'm going to be holding a Facebook Live discussion to talk about our first book, which is Recipe for a Perfect Wife by Karma Brown. I finished reading this book yesterday. I absolutely loved it. I like burned through it in 2 days. It's sort of a thriller, but not really. It's more like a literary dissection of I don't know, secrets within a marriage, I suppose you could say. So I'm really looking forward to that discussion. It's going to be on Thursday, April 16th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you'd like to join in on that, please do. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!